In this video, you'll discover different types of N8N agents you can create, and you'll also see real-world examples of how they can transform your workflows and automations. By the end, you'll understand exactly which agent types are the best and which best suit your specific needs. I've been building and implementing AI automations for the last several months, and over the last couple of months or even few weeks, the rise of AI agents and the hype around these has been insane. And because of this, I've gone really deep into creating these AI agents, and I want to show you everything that you need to know in order to do so yourself, going from the simple to the more complex multi-step automation systems. In the next few videos, I'll show you exactly how to configure and use these AI agents in a production environment. So you'll make your life easier, your clients' lives easier, and it's win-win all around. So in this specific video, I want to explore, number one, the different types of N8N agents available. I want to show you how to configure each type of agent. And I'll also go into real-world implementation examples of how to use these agents, along with best practices for each agent. I'll also give you the common pitfalls that you might want to avoid in order to avoid that back and forth, that trial and error that I have had to go through. Without understanding the full capabilities of N8N agents, you essentially might be building overly complex workflows or even missing out on powerful automation features that these agents offer. The truth is that many people just stick to basic triggers when they could be leveraging much more sophisticated types of agents to handle their automation needs. So let's get right into it, and I'll show you what I mean. So first of all, when you log into N8N, you'll be able to add the first step, which is the trigger. And in order to test this for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to be starting with this on-chat message, because this allows you to start the flow when a chat message is received. And if you look here, you'll also see that this button, which is generally test workflow, is now chat. So you can open this chat and you'll be able to chat with this automation. The next part is obviously to add the AI agent. So if you go here or just press the tab button, you'll be able to go to advanced AI, and over here you'll see all the agents that are available. I won't go into much detail into all of them, but I will give you a brief overview of what each one will do. And then in future videos, I'll also go into more specific examples. So here you have the AI agent, which is the, let's say, the default agent that many people tend to use. We also have the OpenAI messaging assistant. So this is specifically for OpenAI agents, a basic large language model chain, an information extractor, which extracts information from text in a structured format, Q&A chain, answer questions about retrieved documents, sentiment analysis, analyze the sentiment of your text, a summarization chain, and the text classifier, where you can essentially classify your text into distinct categories. And then you have a bunch of other AI nodes as well that you can use. So there's memory, which is useful. There's text splitters, tools, embeddings. So you can go very deep very quickly if you wanted to get into these AI agents. Now, let's just start with the basic AI agent right here. And here, what you'll notice, first of all, is that you have a bunch of agents to choose from. So let's just leave it as tools. The source for prompt. So here I'm going to leave it as the connected chat trigger node, which refers to this right here. So I need to establish that connection. And here the message will be JSON.chat input. And in N8N, whenever you have that JSON dot, it is referring to the node that is exactly before the current one. If you wanted to refer to other nodes, you have to use a different type of notation, which generally would be something along the lines of you start or you indicate a variable, which is done by these double open curly brackets and the same closing curly brackets. And then you would just put the $sign, open brackets, and type in the name of the node that you are referencing. So that would be how you would refer to nodes that are not the previous ones. If we go back here, we have the prompt. So it's JSON.chat input. You can also choose require specific output format if you wanted to parse the output in a specific way. Let's just leave this as default. And here you can provide the system message. So this is where you would tell the AI agent what it does. So by default, it is you are a helpful assistant. In our case, let's just say that takes a user input and then decides what to do with it. So let's just leave it at that for now. So when we have these AI agents, then we have to choose a couple of options. So we have the chat model, we have memory, and we have tools. For the chat model, we just need to kind of give it or tell it what or where to get its brain from. So there's Claude, Anthropic, there's OpenAI, there's Olama, there's Google, there's Mistral. So there's a bunch of things that you could use. Just for simplicity, I'm just going to go with OpenAI. I already have my credential established right there. And I can also set the normal advanced settings that come with OpenAI and ChatGPT. So there's frequency, tokens, response. These are all optional. So you can just leave it at the model you've chosen. So let's leave it at GPT 4.0. And that could be the brain of your AI agent. You have memory, which is the ability for the AI agent to reference previous messages in your chat. So here, the Windows buffer memory, as it says, is the easiest one. You can provide how many messages it's able to reference. So let's just change this to 10. And this will allow it to have a history of what happened right here in the chat conversation. And then we have different tools. So here, this is where the real power comes, because you can connect multiple tools to this agent. You can also call other N8N workflow tools. So you can have multiple kind of sub workflows that are responsible or that are connected to this AI agent. You can write code, you can make HTTP requests, and you can access different like tools from here. So there's Airtable, there's Gmail, Calculator, Google Calendar. So pretty much a lot of Google products are here. There's Microsoft Outlook, SQL, Notion, Slack, Telegram, so Wikipedia. So there's a lot of things you can do when it comes to using these tools right here. However, they are also optional, so you don't have to use them in order to get started. So let's just have a chat with this and we say, hey there, how's it going? And let's see if that works. As you can see here, you also get the whole flow that the agent would go through. So you get the Windows buffer memory, where we got the message as the input. We get the system message that we provided. And there are some formatting instructions. So here it's saying always call format final response to format your final response. We get the OpenAI chat model, so the brain thinking, and returned that output. We get the Windows buffer memory that here we got that added to what happened in our conversation, so we can reference it at a later stage. And we get the response back. Hello, I'm here and there's to help. How can I assist you? So that is working. It's very basic, but it is working. So essentially, you need just this to get going. And the Windows buffer memory is there if you want to be able to reference what happened here in the past conversation. So over here, if I go to the AI agent again, there's a bunch of things that I can do. So let's just change this to conversational agent. So now it's a conversational agent, which doesn't mean much in and of itself in this case. So it can still function as an agent that does things. However, the difference is that with tools, it utilizes structured tool schemas for precise and reliable tool selection. For conversational, it parses JSON responses for tool calls. It's more flexible, but potentially less reliable than the tool's agent, suitable for simpler interactions or with models not supporting structured schemas. So there are things that you can do right there. If I were to remove this and instead go back to AI agent or advanced AI and choose, for example, an information extractor, we can pass along the text from the chat input right here, and we have a few attributes. So first of all, we have the schema time, so we can generate from JSON example. So generate a schema from an example JSON object. We could also define this below. So we could define the input schema here, and that will be the schema that it follows. Over here, we also have a bunch of, or we have this option. You are an expert extraction algorithm. Only extract relevant information from the text. If you don't know the value of an attribute asked to extract, you may omit the attribute value. So let's test this and see what we get. We also need to connect this as before to a model. So this is also good to know. You can connect the same thing or multiple agents to the same brain, right? The same model. You can alternatively create this and connect it again like so. But since I already have the brain right here, I might as well just delete this and connect that to the same OpenAI chat model. So over here, let's see what we get if we run this. So extract information. So let's, I don't know, go to Wikipedia and let's go there and let's type in, I don't know, dogs. And let's grab this information. So let's go back here. Let's create a chat and just paste that in there. And let's see what we get here. So here we didn't get anything, right? So we got the input, but the output was blank. So here we can also see what is happening. So here's the JSON schema, then we get the input. So if we go back here, let's leave that as from attribute descriptions. And let's test this one more time. I'm going to paste in my chat. And here it's saying error, at least one attribute must be specified. So let's see if we can generate from JSON example. And in this case, we have state entity. So I don't think that this would work. So let's just paste this in once more. And we get a blank JSON output again. But what if instead of leaving it as state California, we get, I don't know, dog or animal. We leave that as empty and we try attributes. And let's leave this as an array with 3 items. And let's test this out. So let's save, let's paste that in. And now it's thinking. So we get this in return. So get animal dog, attributes, domesticated, descent of the gray wolf, selectively bred, first species domesticated by humans, ability to thrive, bred for behaviors, sensory capabilities and physical attributes, same number of bones, house around 42 teeth. So I like that this was able to, from our JSON model, able to take that rough structure that we provided in the information JSON example right here, and it was able to extract all this information from our input. So it's a great way to turn your data from being unstructured into a very structured way that you can then use later on in your flow, right? And as you can see, I didn't really provide a lot of input. It was just, okay, provide me the animal type and provide me the attributes. So that was pretty much what I included. So very powerful type of agent to extract information. So let's see what else we have right here. I'm going to go back to advanced AI and let's just go to and review another one, which is this sentiment analysis. So here I can provide the chat input, and the whole thing with the sentiment analysis is that it will give us the feeling, the sentiment of the text. We can essentially define the 3 types of text or the type of sentiment categories that we want to categorize, positive, neutral, or negative. But we can also add more if we wanted to. There are other options. So the system prompt, which by default is you are a highly intelligent and accurate sentiment analyzer. Analyze the sentiment of the provided text and categorize it in one of the following categories, which are the ones right here. Use the provided formatting instructions, only output the JSON. So if we were to, first of all, we need to connect this as before. And here we get the 3 types of categories, right? Positive, neutral, and negative, which match with these right here. Which is great, because then if we get a positive type of output, we would go down one route. If we got neutral, it would be another, and the same with negative. So maybe if it's positive, we want to, I don't know, send an email. If it's neutral, we want to get back to the person. And if it's negative, we want to pass this to a human rep in order to get in touch with the person. So let's type the same thing again with the dogs. And I mean, it's not really, yeah, I would say it's neutral, right? Because it's not really, there's not anything really that's positive or negative. So it went down the neutral branch. Here we also make sure the last executed node outputs the content to display here. Okay, so I guess we could have this return this was neutral if we wanted to have a response back in this chat. But as I said, alternatively, we could connect this to something like, I know, Gmail, and we could then send a message. And we say, okay, the message is this was neutral, right? And if I enter in my email here, we could also have this go down different routes based on the sentiment defined. So what I could have is I could clone this just for the sake of this demo. So duplicate this. We could have one for positive, and we could also have one for negative. All I need to do is just change this. So say this was positive, and then here we could say this was negative. And just for the sake of this example, let's go to ChatGPT and say generate 3 pieces of text that show a customer reaction to buying a new keyboard. One is positive, one is neutral, and one is negative. So let's test this out and see what we get. All right, sweet. So positive, negative, and neutral. So let's start with the neutral one. So let's paste that in. And let's see if this is, yes, successfully defined this as neutral. And if I go to my inbox, I should get an email with sentiment defined and saying this was neutral. So it went down the right path. If instead I paste in, I guess, the negative one, which saying I was disappointed, it again went down the correct path, which was the negative. And again, in my inbox, I should get an email saying this was negative. And just for the sake of testing this, let's paste in the positive one. See if this goes down the correct path. So now it's thinking a bit more than before. It is interesting because, I mean, it's clear. It's thrilled, incredibly smooth and responsive. Fun, yeah. Anyway, took its time, but ended up going down the correct path, which is a positive. And if I go back to my inbox right here and refresh this, I get this was positive. So yeah, that is the sentiment analyzer. It's pretty cool that it's inbuilt into N8N and that it allows you to immediately just pass in a text and it knows or it's able to understand what you want it to do without you having to do much in terms of prompting it and setting it up in the first place. So there's a lot that you can do with these AI agents right here. And my aim with this video is to kind of give you an overview of the ones that I tend to use the most. So there's the summarization chain as well, which is also pretty useful. So here, data to summarize, let's use the node input here. And let's leave this as is. So let's connect this to the brain. And let's have a chat with this. So let's just paste in the disappointed type of response, right? So it's the same thing with the keyboard. I was quite disappointed. Keys feels unresponsive. So here we get the output, which is a customer expressed, let me just zoom in. A customer expressed disappointment with their new keyboard due to unresponsive keys and poor build quality, which is unsatisfactory given the price. They are considering returning the product. So pretty cool summarization AI agent that does what it's supposed to do. Again, these are all connected to our OpenAI chat model brain. And yeah, as you can see, it can also get as complex as you want with the ability to connect multiple agents together. So first you might want to summarize, then you might want to get the sentiment, then you might want to go down different routes. So there's a lot that you can do with this type of workflow that builds and connects all together. Anyway, that was kind of a brief overview of these types of agents that you can build in N8N, and it all starts from the chat input. Once that is ready, what you would do is disconnect this node right here and you would have a different type of input. So maybe you want to have, I don't know, if you go here to add another trigger, you can either trigger this manually, you can trigger on app event. So let's say we have Airtable and we have on a new Airtable event, right? And then you can choose whatever type of event you want. So you can check every minute for something that happens in a specific base or even a table. And that could be the trigger that starts the whole AI agent chain. Just connect it like so, and then you can keep going from there. So yeah, that's pretty much for this video. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you want to get to know when I release future videos on this topic. And in the comments, I would love for you to let me know what type of videos you're interested in when it comes to AI, automations, Make.com, N8N, because I'm really going down the rabbit hole of these software products. So let me know in the comments, hit the like and subscribe, and do all the fancy YouTube algorithm stuff. And in the meantime, check out the link in the description if you want me to help you with your AI and automation and installing this technology in your business. I'll speak to you soon.